Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to our grammar and linguistic study classes. First of all, I'm so happy and so excited to be with you second year. I missed you so much and I hope that you are doing well. And inshallah, after this period, when it passes and it passes peacefully, inshallah, we're gonna have our classes again and we're gonna come back to our lectures, to our friends, to our teachers, to our loved ones, to our universities. So I'm so excited to be with you once again. Today and I'm not going to keep you for a long time, and I want to tell you that this will be our last time to go on live, because thank God I am doing videotaped PowerPoint presentations in which I provide to you my lectures in an organized way, because I'm teaching you grammar. So I think that doing PowerPoint presentations and videotaping them would be much greater and of greater help, because I can give you some exercises, explain to you some points, test you in one way or another. So I'm so excited to meet you via the videos that will be using the PowerPoint presentations. But I was so keen today to meet you face to face and to let you see me, and alhamdulillah, okay, and I'm doing well, and I hope you are doing well too. As far as our course, I'm gonna touch upon some points in chapter, I don't know what chapter, Prepositional Phrases, has this title, Prepositional Phrases. And from next time on, or from the following chapters, they will be, as I told you, given to you in the form of videotaped PowerPoint presentations. So for the time being, I'm gonna very quickly touch upon some points in this chapter. I'll leave you to do the job, and I'm sure that you're gonna do it very easily, because the contents of this chapter are very easy, and you have studied them before, and you are very knowledgeable about the points discussed here. Just want to tell you that we're gonna study, after this chapter, we're gonna study modal verbs, chapter on modal verbs, and another chapter on tenses. Only two topics, modal verbs and tenses. And I think that's enough for us. So I'm gonna prepare to you two videos, one on modal verbs, and the second on the passive form, the tenses, and maybe later on we can, and let's see whether we're gonna go on with some other topics such as the passive forms, not so, but at least we're gonna cover modal verbs and the English tenses, which are very important elements and very important areas in grammar. Okay, prepositional phrases. When we talk about prepositional phrases, we should ask two questions: what is a phrase, and what is a preposition? Phrase is a group of words, a group of words which doesn't convey a complete meaning. It cannot stand alone. It doesn't have full sense, and this is in contrast with close. For example, in close we have also a group of words, but they can convey, or they convey some meaning. They are meaningful in one way or another. So this is as far as phrases. We have different kinds of phrases depending on the key word it includes. If a phrase includes a verb and the verb is a key word in it, we call it verb phrase. For example, he has been given. Has been given. This is a verb phrase. It is made up of a group of words. If a phrase is the key word of it is a noun, we call it a noun phrase. For example, the girl, the beautiful girl, the breathtakingly beautiful girl. All these are noun phrases. And what is the main word here is girl. And as far as girl is a noun, the phrase is a noun phrase. It's called a noun phrase. Okay? And you can say the same thing. By the way, prepositional phrase is a phrase where we have the preposition, the main word in the preposition. If you say, John is in the garden, if you delete in, John is garden, or in John is the garden, it doesn't make sense. We need a preposition to link John and garden. So prepositions are words which are called functional words and not content words, and their main function is to link, to relate words, to tell us where something is happening, and when something is happening, and how something is happening, and the relationship between words, and so on. So this is what we mean by preposition. Prepositional phrase is a group of words including the preposition. So if in the garden, this is a prepositional phrase. Where is the preposition? It is in. Where is the garden? The garden here is in an object or a complement. You cannot say John is in. What does it make sense? We need something to complete it. So the garden completes it. Okay, we have preposition of time and preposition of place, and they are the same. You can find in, you can find on, you can find let's say in, at, etc. You could find them in both functioning as prepositional phrases of time and prepositional phrases of place. Okay, I want you to go to your book and first page of the chapter, page 43, and you'll find a very brief and simple and nice discussion of how words, how prepositions are functioning. For example, in, it means inside something, in, something which is put inside. For example, I put this, let's say, something in my hand, in my palm. Okay, on, you're referring to a surface. So in is in something inside, on is something on the surface of something, and out is the opposite of in. On and off are two opposites. For example, the pen is on my hand here, and it's off my hand. It's no longer there on my hand. Also, we have into. What's the difference between in and into? Into is coming with verbs of movement, motion verbs. He get into his car. He rides on to his bicycle. So there is movement. It's not a static static meaning. It's mush. It's we can say mobile, meaning something that is involving some sort of movement and so on. So we have in and out, on and off, into and onto. So these are the main prepositions discussed here. If you look at the examples and the exercise, complete the following sentences with in, on, out, off, into, onto, and etc. We're gonna do some examples. For example, the bread, number one, the bread is on the table, in the kitchen, on the table, surface, in the kitchen, place, enclosed. You understand? Another example, number two, he lives in that house, place, he's in that house, and on the second floor, surface, on the second floor. And please do the rest of the examples very easily put. Okay, let's move to page 44, and we have home, and at home. Okay, home and at home. Home, it doesn't take in. It takes at. And you, for example, stay at home. Stay at home. We always say to everyone, stay at home, especially in these days, especially in this period, and the whole world is isolating themselves. Everybody is living indoors, not outdoors, because this is a period where a pandemic is is an outbreak of a pandemic, and we hope that the world will survive this crisis, and God Almighty have mercy on us and remove all these horrible things away, and get us back to our normal life, and stay safe. Okay, home, go home. It doesn't need a preposition. Go home. Okay, are you home? Are you home? And so on. Let's go to the same prepositions, but prepositions of time. We have at. Okay, some points. Bottom page 44. At refers to exact points of time. Points of time. At 8 o'clock, at dinner party, at this moment, at Christmas, at Easter, at let's say at New Year, at Eid al-Adha, at sacrifice feast, at there is some point of time, very, very specific and very exact. So we use at. Of course, there are exceptions. And we have to know these exceptions. Okay, on days and dates. On Monday, on Saturday, on Wednesday night, and so on, in longer periods. Of course, also there are exceptions. For example, in August, in spring, in 1992, in the 19th century. Also, it refers to some points, some points of time within which something is to be done within 5 minutes, or in 5 minutes I'm gonna finish. Let's say, supposedly in 5 minutes or in 10 minutes I'm gonna finish. By has to do with that by a particular set of a particular date I said I'm gonna finish something, I'm gonna do something. For example, by the end of this week I will have finished my classes or my studies, and so on. What's the difference between by the end of the month and at the end of the month? For example, by the end of the month, exactly on the last day of the month, by the end of the month, maybe I pay you, if I get some, maybe I pay you before the this time, but not later than that. That I gonna, for example, I borrowed the book from you. I gonna get it back to you at the end of this month. You know, definite date. But when you say by the end of this month, it's not definite. Can get this book back to his owner, you know, earlier than that, but not later than the end of the month. Okay. Let's have some examples. We never get out. We never get out on Sundays. It's usually quiet here on Sundays morning and so on. I don't think that this word is difficult for you. Let's move to made of, made from, made with, made by, and so on. Made of, something that's made of something, and we can see this thing, the material which from that is used in order to create this thing. For example, the table, the wooden table. Okay, the table is made of wood. I can see wood. The table is made of metal. I can see metal. The table is made of plastic. I can see, you know, plastic, and so on. If you say made from, here, I don't. For example, the jam is made of grapes or figs. You don't see, you know, sorry, I think the jam is made of, because we can see fig, we can see things and so on, or made from, and so on. But let's see, wine is made from grapes. You cannot see something else. Cake is made with, here we have ingredients, you know. Cake is made with, we have ingredients, we have flour, we have sugar, we have baking powder, we have so many things. And furniture was made by the doer of the action, who has done the thing, you know. So we have made of, number two, made from, we cannot see what the materials, and made with different ingredients, and made by, specifying the person or the agent or the doer of the action. Okay. Without here, all these examples are prepositions, you know. All these examples are prepositions, you know, of, from, with, by, and also at, in, out, into, onto, and so on. Let's go to another kind of preposition, which is without. And as we see, without is followed by a noun. In this example, it could be followed by a gerund. But let's look here at the example. He went out. He didn't take his umbrella. He went out without his umbrella, you know, without his umbrella. The contract is worthless until he signs it. The contract is worthless without his signature. So after without, we have a noun. Let's take one example. Okay. When you go out, don't leave your head behind. Okay, let's do it. Don't go out without your hat. Don't go out without your hat. Another example, I can't pay the check unless you sign it. I can't pay the check without your signature. Without your signature. Okay, and as without plus gerund. Okay, plus gerund. So without could be followed by a noun, and it could be followed by a gerund. Let's look at the example. He went out, he didn't say anything. He went out without saying anything. I don't, you know. If you look at the example, how can you earn a living if you don't work? How can you earn a living without working? Okay. How can you succeed without studying? You know. And let's move to page 47. Another couple of prepositions. You know, until and as far as. Both refer to a particular point. at the end point, you know, but there is some difference. Let's look at until relates to time. The only difference is that until relates to time and as far as relates to distance, to place. Let's look at the examples. I won't be able to finish it until the end of the month. This is what until here comes with what? With time. Until, yani by the end of the month, I'm gonna finish it. I don't think that I'm gonna finish it until the end of the month. Let's say I don't think that I'm gonna finish my studies until the end of this week. Let's say I don't think I can go out until the coronavirus epidemic moves away, you know, and so on. So here we have time. We have time. Let's say I can't get you food until it's cooked. Until it's cooked. When it is cooked, I can serve you food. The second preposition is as far as. And here, what we mean by prepositional phrase, here we have, it's not one word, it's a group of words. And this is what we mean by prepositional phrase, you know. And if you look at the title or the title of the chapter, we call it prepositional phrase, but sometimes we have a prepositional phrase out of one preposition and sometimes out of two. For example, let's say due to, two words. Let's say as far as, three words. Let's say in, one word. And all are prepositional phrases. Okay. The second is as far as. Okay, let's say he went, go as far as the station and then turn right. Go as far as the station. Go as far as the station, لحد السtation, and then turn right. Let's look at the examples. Okay. The restaurant doesn't open until 7 o'clock. And number 2, he went as far as the castle place, as far as the castle, or as far as the castle. Okay. But then he felt tired and turned back. Okay. Here I'm talking about the relationship between until and as far as on page 47 for people who are asking about which page. So until is related to time, you know, and as far as related to place. Because and because of and due to, you know, because one word, preposition, and it is followed by a complete phrase, a complete clause, subject, verb, and the rest of the elements. And because of and due to, they are followed by phrases, not complete clauses, a noun phrase, let's say gerund or anything else. You understand? Let's look at the examples. He couldn't come because he was ill. He couldn't come because he was ill. What comes after because? We have a complete clause. He, subject, was, verb, and ill, complement. If you look at the second, he couldn't come because of his illness. Here we have his illness, a noun phrase. And his absence was due to his illness also. His illness is also a noun phrase. I don't think that we have to stay here for so long, and please do the examples and shift from, you know, when it comes to rewriting this area, please pay attention. This is a very important thing, your ability to test your ability of writing and rewriting sentences to give the same sense and to do the necessary changes. On page 48, as and like, okay, also they are prepositions, you know, they are preposition and or prepositional phrases, and they are used in order to describe the way in which actions are done. The way. The difference is that we use as followed by clause, subject, verb, and so on, and we use like followed by noun or pronoun. Let's look at the example. Do as I say. Do as I say. You know, as I say. As is followed by a clause. Let's look. Do it like this. Do it like this. You know, this this here is an demonstrative, and it's used like a noun here. It's used like a noun here, or a preposition. You know, it's used demonstrated, but it's acting like a noun. You understand? Also, let's look at the examples. I can't understand why he behaved like that or as that. What do you think? Like that or at that, like that. Why? Because it's followed by not as clause but a noun, which is the demonstrative or the demonstrative word that here. Look at number B. Well, you never know if people are going to behave. You expect them to, as you expect them to. Why? Because as is followed by a clause, a subject, a verb, and the rest of the elements. Okay, let's look at number B. Also, as and like. Okay, as a referee and like a monkey. You know, as a referee and like a monkey. This is a very important couple of expressions. Okay, we use as we use to work as or to have a job. Okay, let's look at the example. He works as a referee on Saturday afternoons. This is his job. He's really a referee. If you look at number 2, he can climb like a he's not a monkey. He's not a monkey. It's it's a simile. It's a simile. It's not real. This is the main difference. So we use we say X is like someone or something. It's similar. It's a simile, as I told you. And as is used to refer to job, to someone's actual job, actual profession, and actual social position. For example, let me tell you something. As a sister to you, when I talk to myself as a sister, as a mother, if I am talking to my daughters and my son and so on. As a teacher, let me tell you, no, don't say I'm like a teacher, as a teacher, let's look at some examples. I worked as a waiter during the summer holidays, it was awful. We had to work as slaves, like slaves. They are not slaves, but they are working very hard. It's a similar. It is some sort of figurative expression to say or to express how hard they are working. Let's look at number 2. And they are treating us like dirt. Also, it's not actual. It's something figurative. It's something figurative. It's not real. If you look at number 2, he's hoping to get a job. To get a job, what comes after job? Is, and he drives like a lunatic. He's not lunatic, but he's acting like a lunatic, and so on. Also, we have not so much and more than and rather than. These are also prepositions, and they are prepositional phrases. Okay, let's take this example. He's not as much as an actor. He's not so much as an actor. Sorry, he's not so much an actor as a singer. He's not so much an actor as a singer. As a singer, so he is doing two things. He's acting and he's singing. But most of the time he's singing, and seldom does he act. Most of he's focusing, he's concentrating on singing, and every now and then he acts. So he is not so much an actor like as a singer. If we rewrite this example by using more and rather than, we get something like that. He's more a singer than actor. He's more a singer than actor, and is a singer rather than an actor. For example, when you say he's a footballer, and he is, let's say, a teacher, a footballer, and he's a teacher. You can say he is not so much a teacher as a singer, or he is more like a teacher. He's more like a footballer than a teacher. He's concentrating on playing football, And number 3, he is a footballer rather than a teacher. So people who have more than one profession and more than one hobby, and they are doing lots of things, but they excel or they concentrate on a particular profession, then the other, we have 3 ways to talk about that. Number 1, not so much. Okay, let's say, for example, Shakespeare. We know that he is a dramatist and he is a poet, but his plays are so many, and his poems are, he was concentrating most of the time on writing plays. So we say Shakespeare is not so much a poet as a playwright or as a dramatist, or Shakespeare is more like a dramatist than a poet, or Shakespeare is a dramatist rather than a poet. You understand? And by this, we come to the end of this class. I hope that you go through the pages of this chapter. The chapter is very easy, and the book is very easy, and you can do it on your own. And let me remind you something which is very, very valuable and really incredible for you as students and as human beings. It's reading. I want you to read as much as you can, and try to use this time where you are indoors to enjoy reading, enjoy listening, enjoy exercising the language. I think this is a very valuable period to move ahead with your English and to improve it, and to hone and brush your skills at all levels. This is a very valuable time. Please use it to the fullest and enjoy it. And remember that grammar is not necessarily learned through books and exercise and tests. No, grammar could be learned unconsciously by using the language and being submerged in the language itself, reading it, living it, writing and listening and speaking and so on. I want you to read as much as you can, and you can make reading party. You make or watching party, and make use of every single minute and every single moment of your work, and take care of yourself and take care of your family, and enjoy your time. And let me give you a topic to read about. It's let's say, who are the heroes of this period of the pandemic? In your point of view, who are the heroes? Who are the heroes that we should salute, that we should greet, and that we should, let's say, put them in their due, or give them the due respect, and enhance them, and encourage them, and help them as much as we can in your point of view. Number two, please write about your daily, activities or routine, or write a diary of this period, because I think this is worth writing, because after when things will come back to normal, inshallah, soon, you will remember this period, and it's engraved in your memory, and maybe you're gonna talk about it to your children and your grandchildren, and so on. So please document it by writing and reading and listening, and enjoying time, and get close to your friends, not physically but socially. And because even if we are apart, our hearts are shaking hands, our hearts are touching and hugging one another. I want to say to you that I really missed you, and I want to say also that I wish you all the best. Enjoy your time, stay at home, stay safe, and inshallah I'm gonna meet you not live like that, but in videos, inshallah, and I'm gonna tell you exactly when I'm gonna be soon, inshallah. Thank you.